Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday with me, Ryan, aka Sifu Messiah. This is a weekly show which covers everything from the world of Star Citizen over the past week. Links can be found in the description for everything we discuss, so let's get on with it. So this week's Citizencon tickets went live, there was a sighting of a new Vanduul bomber, and we got to see footage of the first human Scythe in flight. So kicking off the show this week we have 10 for the designers. I picked out all the questions as the designers always seem to have some really good questions and answers. Anyway, the first question being, will the angle of projectiles be taken into account with the new physically based damage tech, and how? And they say it's something they're looking into. They want to get it into the system, but it presents a lot of challenges. Obviously there could be up to 50 guns all firing at once, which all need to be taken into account and calculated. So it sounds like they're really working hard to get this implemented. Fingers crossed. Next question is, can we have an armoured jacket for a gun or a mount? And they say that they're able to make specialised mounts with a shield or with a cooling unit attached to it. And they say they do intend to, and they are only just sort of trying them out now. They should be introduced pretty soon if all goes well. And armoured sleeves are things that they've been talking about. Obviously, your main gun would be very important. So to be able to shroud it in armour would be worth the cost, I would have thought. So again, fingers crossed. Anyway, moving on. Will we be able to modify our ships into roles more like the Tracker, the Ghost, or the Gladiator type? And they said that they will be limited functionality into turning them directly into those, but they are currently looking back over the old ships and looking at ways to bridge the gap between the old and the new ships. Every ship, they say, is designed to feel distinct and have an obvious gameplay purpose. Anyway, next question is, any changes to the small ship flight model coming in the future? And they say that it decently represents the gameplay they want. However, it does not represent the whole game, obviously. They say only the small ships are currently there, and they obviously have great manoeuvrability, responsiveness, acceleration, etc., etc. They say the bigger ships will not be able to turn on a dime, and for example, a battle between a capital ship or between two capital ships is nothing like what we currently have in Arena Commander with the two smaller ships. They say even medium-sized ships will feel completely different to fighting with the single-person ships. I don't know, I think it's quite well represented, I think it plays well. There will be some slight things I think they need to tweak, but things like that will change over time the more and more people that come on board and play it. Anyway, next question. With everything going to the maths-based system, like damage and thruster inputs, can we expect the same with ore and fuel as far as volumetric handling? And they say yes, it's even further than just ore or fuel. They say ammo and missiles, for example, everything will affect your flight, and your ship will handle differently from the beginning of a battle to the end due to the use of ammunition, affecting its weight and mass of your ship. They say IFCS, the in-flight control system, does a lot to counter this, but even slight changes of mass without the IFCS really affects the handling. So either if you're a fighter and you are expelling lots of ammunition, your ship will completely handle differently due to its mass and the amount of ammo you have used. And again goes for a trade ship. If you've got lots of cargo, it'll handle differently to when you're empty. And sort of the Orion, for example, again, mining, if you've got a full load of ore in the back, it will handle completely differently than if it was an empty ship. So yes, very, very interesting, and you'll have to cater for these while piloting, which is very, very cool. I really like that idea. Anyway, next question. In regards to the new shield system, will the Retaliator really only have a Class 3 Aurora shield, or do bigger ships work differently? And they explain that it will have bigger shields. It's still being worked on, and they can only really iron it out once it's flyable, so once the multi-crew module hits. Shields and armour will be appropriate for a forward bomber, which is its role, and they will be bigger than an Aurora size 3, so it's just a different type of spec they've got there. Don't relate it to the single-person shield. Anyway, next question is, DJ Pete mentioned modelling ships in the calculator. Can you tell us more about this? And they say what it does is it lets them set up ships much faster. They give the numbers of the ship's size, etc. into this calculator, and then it calculates the size needed for the thrusters and all the other parts that need to go onto it, so it's much quicker. They say for modders, they will likely get a version of the calculator, but not the current one they're using, so it'll be probably a more user-friendly, but with maybe less features, which is very cool. Something they said during this transition from this question to the next is something about the new health system, saying that no gun can kill a ship before it overheats. I thought that was quite relevant and important, but not really relating to any of the questions, so I just thought I'd put it in there as a little sneak. Anyway, next question. They say the curious about the limits of various seat roles, for example, the use of gimbaled or unmanned turrets being operated by the co-pilot while the pilot focuses on manoeuvring or lining up the fixed weapons. And they say they are planning, but not at first, not the first iteration, on assigning different weapons and systems to different seats. So you could have your nav on a certain seat within your ship. You can actually pick and choose which one you want. There will be restrictions, but the pilot can issue guns to the co-pilot, which I think they said will hit with the first iteration of multi-crew. So, second to last question, will it be possible to forego offensive capabilities entirely in lieu of greater defence? And if so, what options can we attach to the gun turret mounts? They say that active defence mounts are a cool idea, but they've not spec'd out that much. They are currently looking into more utility mounts now. For example, the Reliant with its news van and base hauler having turret mounted utility gear. But they say non-combat stuff to mount will be absolutely there. But they don't want every mount to be passive, as you would have no offensive capabilities when you got shot at. But they did say they will explore it further to see what they can do, but you don't want to be all defensive, it would just be daft. Anyway, last question, can players mix and match armour pieces, or will they simply come as one item? And they say armour is still being worked on, but they are exploring both options. They want it to be region specific, so for example you can have armour on the nose or on the belly, but it will depend on how much the system can handle. They say there is two kinds of armour, the hull obviously of your ship being one kind. It's not as strong as additive armour, but it is obviously protecting you and the interior of the ship. And then there's additive armour, which will be specialised for explosives, energy, ballistics, etc. They say they're exploring different types, and one type they're looking at now is that it's sort of a high value armour, but with a rate of decay much faster than normal. And they say the Vanguard would be the example to use for this. When it comes in on a bombing run, it needs to be well protected, but then for the second pass, which it shouldn't need to do, it will present more problems. But they did say that armour is coming along very nicely and we should get to see it very soon. So that was the 10 for the designers. Tell me your thoughts. Okay, so on to Around the Verse, episode number 48, which is the 1 year anniversary of Around the Verse. And again, Years 100, who created the fantastic Imagine trailer, was asked by CIG to create their anniversary trailer. Now I'll put it up in the background, hopefully now while we're talking about Around the Verse. Well done very much, Years 100. If you haven't subscribed to him, check out his channel. It's Years, the number 1 and 100. He is the guy that created the Imagine trailer, which Star Citizen adopted as their official trailer. So anyway, Ben was alone again, as Sandy has gone back to London for filming on the Squadron 42 motion capture. He started off by mentioning Citizencon tickets were released on Wednesday night. Managed to pick one up, which I'm very excited for. They were £40, and it's in a hangar, an aircraft hangar, with an actual real-life Concorde as the backdrop. Very, very cool. They have unfortunately sold out. I noticed, I picked mine up last night, quite late on at night on the Wednesday, and by the Thursday afternoon, they had completely gone. So if you didn't manage to get one, it's very unfortunate. But obviously they are yearly, so who knows, it may be around your area next year. Anyway, they say they are pushing for Star Marine PTU release, but again, still no release date, which is what we're all dying to hear. So Chris Roberts has kicked off the last month of capture shoot for Squadron 42 in London. They say it's going incredibly well and it will be truly amazing. Now also, by now, the Gladius, Mustang Delta and Super Hornet will no longer be for sale. So if you haven't picked one up, I'm afraid it's too late. Anyway, news from around the verse. Starting with Santa Monica CIG, they're finishing up the shared vehicle perimeters. This is our own bug smasher that's doing it, Mark Abent, and this will really help with quicker load times, getting into Arena Commander, coming out of Arena Commander, which will also play into the persistent universe. The Game Object State Machine, or Ghost, has been worked on, and you will now soon, anyway, be able to extend or retract the landing gear, the seats, the lighting. You can control everything basically, whereas at the moment you can just currently get into the ship by pressing the use button. This will give you far more scope in doing what you want to do. So there are also many ships going through the pipeline for the new damage states. They didn't specify which, but I'm sure they'll all have them in soon. Anyway, on to Ilphonic, and they are talking again about the Duke's starts and stops, which is the animation that make your character and every character look more realistic during the movements. They say they've worked out a system to allow controls to be more responsive and easier to work with, which obviously will be very important. I think they found some difficulties with using all these different animations. So on to CIG in Austin. It is more of an art update, as the Art Core Area 18 landing zone is going through an optimization pass, so when the social module hits, it runs a lot smoother, which is again very important. The Satterball characters have been updated. They are now high res and the helmets have been completed. Very exciting. Also, a new lighting artist has joined, and he is tackling the shop locations. And And also to do with the social module, they're looking into an animations list for NPCs that we will see. Sort of bring the NPCs into life, and they're going to schedule the motion capture shoot for these NPCs very soon. So by the time the social module comes out, we should be seeing everything finalized, everything polished and optimized. Fingers crossed. Anyway, moving on to Foundry 42. They spoke about the Retaliator, which is getting its level of details, then it's its damage states, then it'll be made flight ready, and then from there it'll be the weapon and damage passes, and then it'll be released. So it is very, very close as the Retaliator for us to fly them. I assume it will be coming with the multi-crew module, which again is a very exciting time for us. They're also working on the Idris interior, which they are just making sure all the internals, all the rooms within the Idris match the Aegis style. So as they've always said, each ship will clearly belong to a certain manufacturer. Due to its style, you'll be able to tell instantly which manufacturer made it because of their style set for each manufacturer. Very, very cool. So after that, we went to Alexis, who is speaking with Behaviour in this subscribers corner, which is quite a new little feature. And they are releasing a new Taketsu model, and it is the Aegis Avenger. Now, this is obviously for subscribers. It is a very cool little in-fiction style crafty model that just gets displayed in your hangar. It does look very, very cool. I have to say that I'll show you the images of it now. It looks amazing. I cannot wait to see that in my hangar. Should be available hopefully already. So from there, James Pugh had an interview with Eric Davis. Now, he is the new senior producer. He was originally with Blizzard Entertainment, and his main focus now is on the art side. If you want to know what he says, check out the link in the description for Around the Verse 48 and follow their own timings within their post. So from there, we met with Elisa Ohanian, who is doing Shipshape, a very, very cool feature in Around the Verse. I do love Shipshape. It's always great to see new art and sort of concepts of where they are with certain ships. Now, she was talking about the sort of the Vanduul ships, and in particular the sort of obstacles with modifying them for human flight. So currently they're upgrading the damage system, creating the hoods and refitting the cockpits for human use. This is to do mainly with the Scythe, and they wanted to sort of bring into fiction who will be making these changes, so what company or what ship manufacturer. And they figured that Anvil, with it being very close sort of military-esque style ships, they would be the likeliest to get hold of a Scythe and retrofit it for human use. So they also showed us a little snippet of some HUD images. It's going to be red, it's going to be visually distinctive, and again there's some symbols for more of an alien feel. The cockpit in itself has pretty much changed everything about the saddle. It's added a rail system for it to make it easier for humans to board, and also they've added more of a human button control to make it more comfortable for the humans, because obviously certain features we will not have as second nature, whereas the Vanduul will, so we need these buttons to be able to control other things. Also, on the comlink tomorrow, the Scythe, well, say tomorrow, on Friday, the Scythe will be flown for the first time, so we should get to see that. Hopefully, I'll have the footage of that for this week's Star Citizen Sunday. Anyway, there was a new post, around 2, for Which Glitch, which is where Q&A take 5 of their favourite glitches from that week and show them off to everyone. Again, very, very funny. Tell me your favourite. Anyway, the sneak peek, and this is very cool. This is the gravity generator sound. Now I shall just shut up and let you listen to it. Anyway, that's it for Around the Verse episode 48. Short and sweet. Tell me your thoughts on everything. I would like to hear them. So there was a cool post this week in regards to a Vanduul ship, and it is from the Naval High Command, the Office of Public Affairs, for immediate release, so I shall read it to you now. It says, on June the 11th, 2945 at 2:40 AM Standard Earth Time, a distress call was sent from the civilian refueling station Diamond Jim's Fuelporium. Located within the Oberon system near the planet Oberon 6, the 341st Squadron, already on patrol nearby, was sent to investigate when subsequent attempts to hail the station were unsuccessful. Upon arriving, the 341st discovered that the station had been destroyed. No survivors were found. Information pulled from the station's recovered data drives revealed that at 2036 Standard Earth Time, 2 Vanduul bombers, UEE designation Void, had entered within range of the station's proximity sensors. After detecting the presence of these hostile Void bombers, owner and operator of the station, Citizen Jim Hester, had initiated emergency procedures which triggered the aforementioned distress call. Though the station was armed with turrets, it seemed the Vanduul bombers were able to maneuver past the station's defence and release a devastating mixture of missile and boarding craft. No ships or escape pods were able to launch from the fueling station before it was overwhelmed. All 56 beings aboard at the time of attack were killed. A full list of the deceased will be released once next of kin have been notified. As of the release of this report, Navy forces have been unable to track down the ships responsible. Patrols will continue to search the area. All signs point to this being an isolated incident, with the Vanduul's main goal being the acquisition of fuel. While this is a tragic event, it is the opinion of the High Naval Command that this is not indicative of any organised Vanduul incursion into UEE space, but rather a solitary raid. For more information, media may contact the UEE Naval High Command Public Affairs Office during normal hours. Attached, Naval Intelligence has provided a preliminary specification sheet and the latest imagery of the Void bomber. Civilians are advised to avoid any engagement with the ship type until more details are known. So there we have it. There is a new Vanduul ship. Obviously the leaked assets we saw shows us so many different Vanduul ships, but this one is the bomber variant. Very cool. Tell me your thoughts on this. This sounds like a good bit of gameplay mission that could evolve in the PU for us. Okay, also this week there was a new booty call post called A Score to Settle. Booty call is kind of like your in-fiction pirate radio. The post is generally about getting revenge. However, there are some little insights like beacon bombs, which is a bomb that gives off a distress signal, so people will go to this location to try and explore or find out what the signal is, and when you get into the blast radius of this beacon, it can be detonated, taking out your ship and yourselves, or you can use it to target pirates, for example. There was news again relating to the Vanduul bomber, just tying in with its sighting, and another little thing about getting revenge being satisfying. They say it was like the first stim of the day, so whether that's some sort of narcotic, we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, there was an RSVP for Citizencon 2015. Now this Citizencon is to celebrate Star Citizen's birthday. It lands on the very first day the Kickstarter started. It is its third year now. Tickets went up for sale on Wednesday night. Luckily I was still awake, as by Thursday afternoon they had all sold out, so I managed to get one. I did tweet it out, as I knew by Sunday there would be definitely none left, so by all means follow us on Twitter at SuperMacBrother so you'd get all these news updates quickly as they happen. So for the UK it was about £40 or about $72 I think it relates to, which includes a buffet, physical and digital swag, and the location is in a hangar with an actual Concorde for the backdrop. Very, very cool. Don't worry if you didn't get a ticket or you cannot make it, as it will be fully live streamed, so you will not miss out. Anyway, there was some new June subscriber flair as mentioned in Around the Verse. It is the Aegis Avenger Taketsu model, which is in hangars now. I've seen it and it looks fabulous. So the final post this week was a preview of Flying the Scythe, and it mentions that the next major update for Arena Commander will include the Vanduul Scythe for all backers who manage to pick one up. It's said to have been fully modelled for human use, including the hood and the cockpit design. It will sound and feel slightly alien, but will be fully flyable by a human. And the Scythe will be available to all Imperator subscribers, and you will get access to that for a short period each month. But we will get to fly it, everyone else will get to fly it as well on the free flight weekends. Don't forget, in next week's Star Citizen Sunday, we will be announcing the winner of the Reliant ship package we're giving away. There is a link in the description below to the relevant video with all the details. Follow us on Twitter at SuperMacBrother, no S on the end, and follow me on Twitch, which is SuperMacBrothers Ryan. I will be live streaming sometime in the near future. We have affiliated with Razer, as we feel they make excellent gaming products, and if you want to help our channel out, plus buy amazing hardware, use the link in our description, and we'll get a little kickback every time a product is bought. So yet again we have come to the end of the show. I just want to say a big thank you to all our subscribers and a massive thank you to all our patrons. You are truly helping our channel grow. If you are interested or able to help us out in way of a monthly donation from as little as $1 to any amount you deem fit, check out our Patreon page in the description. This really helps our channel to create more videos, better quality videos, and it allows us to get better hardware, better software, plus it allows us to spend more time on creating the videos. Don't forget to subscribe, comment if you have anything to say, show me the love by hitting the like button, and share it with all your friends and enemies. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you in next week's show.